You just know I'm about to cut up in this video, right? I know you know it, and I wouldn't leave you hanging. Okay. However, this video needs a few disclaimers before we start. Let's start with this video being from the perspective of someone who is for student loan debt forgiveness, who benefits from it as well. So if you are on the other side of that and it angers you, it triggers some deep, just frustrating emotion, this is maybe not the video for you. See, there's this little trick I've learned in life, right? Stay with me here. Stay with me. I'm also going to be super sarcastic this video. Stay with me here. If there's something on the internet and you can clearly see what it's about and it may trigger or anger you, you cannot watch it. I know, listen, it's brought me so much peace in life. So much peace. So that's a disclaimer I would throw out there. Don't trigger yourself today. Another disclaimer, if you are against student loan debt forgiveness and you want to vivaciously let me know it, just so you know, I don't care. Okay, as Stephen A. Smith would say, we don't care. I don't care. Others may care on the internet. I don't. I do not, with every fiber and being in my body. Also, for this video, I will lay out at least some of my plans post student loan debt. Now, I know you may think, is she gonna blow it all on sneakers? Is it just gonna be blown on a ton of Fear of God essentials? Or will it be spent some other way? Well, you know what? We will go over that, don't you worry, because it's my hope that this is also an opportunity to show how to maximize a great show of grace that we've been given with this forgiveness. But make no mistake about it, even without this, I was still treating myself, doing things I wanted to do, because it's called a budget and spending with a plan and intention, and that will not stop, okay? That will not stop.
I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were young. I'll take a hit and
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl TJ back. Another video on Talks with TJ, and you knew this video was on the way, but I took some time, had other things I needed to drop, but we're here to discuss student loan forgiveness and it being announced. It was actually announced on Kobe Day. On Kobe Day, 8/24. So let's break down just the specifics of what we know so far. As you can see from the graphic on the left, if you are someone who holds federal student loans and you make less than $125,000 a year or $250,000 a year for a 2-household income, you are eligible to receive up to $10,000 of your federal student loans to be forgiven, or $20,000 if you were a Pell Grant recipient. The forbearance period has also been extended through the end of 2022 through December 31st, and there will also be a payment-based update based on the income that you earn for your payments. Side note, while filming another video, I forgot to put this in this video. There are people that are highly upset that their loans are being forgiven. Like, they don't want them forgiven. I guess that could be seen as a little self-righteous. Okay, so you don't want the loans to be forgiven, but they will be if you have federal loans and you fall under all the guidelines. So here's the thing, because maybe there's this, I don't know, you still want to suffer as a martyr. Okay, totally. I'm not going to say I get it. Whatever. If you are upset about that, guess what? There are a number of people, I'm sure, in your local area that are less fortunate, that are in need and could benefit from that money that is now freed up for you. So be sure to put it to great use and donate that towards organizations that are actively doing things within the community and for people that are less fortunate than yourself and less fortunate than a lot of us. If you still want to make payments towards something, make payments towards those who need help. I've said this before in videos in relation to my own personal journey. Would I take out student loans again? Absolutely, positively, no. I would not do that. However, I think my journey in having dealt with those loans and showcasing that diligent effort to pay them off over the last year, especially just on YouTube itself, I think that adds to the story of me connecting with young adults, especially within sneakers, and showing opportunity cost and willpower and discipline. And I wouldn't want that to be removed remove from my story because I think that's part of what makes me who I am. As a creator, I just want young adults to make better choices than what I made when I was younger. So just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, right? And you can find out some of the backstory of my life just in terms of growing up and some of the financial hardships in the social status, chocolate milk, free lunch video. So I'll go ahead and link that below. That was probably one of the first times I kind of opened up about some things personally, but I think there's this assumption that everybody that took out student loans, I know there are, we'll get to some of the assumptions, that, oh, it was rich people's kids that took them out. No, it was not. And even I believe 2018, looking back, 2019 maybe, but I'm going to say probably 2018, I believe my balance for student loan debt was actually around $28,000. So I'm beneath the $10,000 cap actually to go ahead and be forgiven. So yes, I qualify within that $10,000 to be quite honest with you. I also qualify for the $20,000 in relation to Pell Grant recipients because yes, I was a financial dire hardship case. That was me. There were individual documents and forms you had to send in, and that was me. If you know the story of my mom being unable to work due to a car accident because an off-duty cop chose to run a stop sign, yeah, that was my life, and my mom was unable to physically work and earn. So yes, I was a financial hardship case for the college that I attended, and I was a Pell Grant recipient, and I've packaged student loans. So it's always interesting to me when people have these thoughts on what they think the profile is of a student that may take out student loans or, may receive certain grants and things of what they are. It's not usually assumptions you may have. And I've packaged those kids. And the Pell Grant, it can vary, right? It is something that varies. It's not like a set amount. It varies year to year. So I actually am a Pell Grant recipient, but even being in the position I am right now to have that 10,000 or it can be capped at 10,000 to be forgiven. I wouldn't have even gotten to this point if it weren't for my diligent effort since the country shut down. So if you followed, we shut down in March of 2020, and I took a little bit of time to see how stable my finances would be. But once I realized they were quite stable, even with all of the change going on, I made the concerted effort to pay on the principal of my student loans every single month. There may have been some months that I did not, and I think those were more so closer to the holidays or high travel months. But other than that, I began to aggressively pay on them, and I even displayed this on my channel starting in 2021. And you guys have the student loans versus sneakers or resale sneakers series you can watch on the channel, and I use that as an opportunity to show just because I'm able to do something, it doesn't mean that you have to. It would then come down to, was I willing to just pay on the student loan debt, or was I more so willing to just go out and buy a shoe for resale because I could? And I really wanted a lot of those shoes. Like, you guys can go down that list. I wanted a lot of those shoes, but I felt this was a good opportunity for me to show a display of willpower, opportunity cost, and I hope young adults took something from that series. Now, in terms of my personal situation, am I seeking the $20K forgiveness? The way it would actually work, even if you've paid on your student loans now, you can actually have those payments refunded back to you. That amount that you paid off would go back towards the balance of your student loans, and then that would be encompassed in the actual amount forgiven. Here's the truth. All of the loans that I could do that for, they're already closed accounts off of my credit report because I paid them off. So I don't know just how difficult of a road that would be to have those payments reversed for all of 2021 and all of 2020. And I can't lie, I don't know that I want to actually go through that. I'll just be honest with you. The amount that would be forgiven, it's less than 10K right now. And I think I'm just going to be content with that amount being forgiven. Yes, I could seek out more. Throwing that out there, but I think I'm just going to be content with the 10K being forgiven because it just sounds like a lot of extra work to go for a different amount. Let's talk about some of the assumptions in relation to student loans and them being forgiven, because I just can't rock with these things. And maybe part of it is having worked at a college within financial aid, packaging student loans, and seeing the amount of parents that come in and out of that door and students who have zero idea the implications these loans will have, not only on their lives, but their children's lives and their future grandchildren's lives as time goes on. And I'll see people say, well, those 17 and 18-year-olds knew what they were doing when they took those loans out. some of you made some of the most questionable choices when you were 17 or 18, and it wasn't even related to student loans. Also, we don't even trust 18-year-olds to drink alcohol legally because alcohol impairs your judgment. So we already understand that an 18-year-old's judgment is so impaired already because their brains are not fully done forming. We don't want to hinder that. We don't want them to make worse decisions. So we won't even allow them to legally drink. But yet you think that an 18-year-old fully understands the implications of a high interest predatory loan being signed and how that will affect them later on when they're ready to buy a house, a car, start a family, invest for their retirement. Like, you really can look yourself in the mirror, go look at your 18-year-old kid and go ahead, and if you have kids, look at the choices your 18-year-old kid made, okay? I can guarantee you they were questionable. They were not based on logic. They were based on emotion. And that is in no way justification of saying, well, they knew what they were doing when they took them out. They did not. I can tell you this because I packaged well over 500 kids for college. They don't know. Those parents also don't know. That's on the system. That's on society. That's a bigger systematic issue, but nonetheless, no, they have no idea what they're actually taking on. Another assumption I've seen all over the internet, this is going to benefit the already rich, the already thriving. You know, I also see a lot of times on the internet people saying, well, $100,000 isn't enough to live on anymore in 2022. Which one is it? Which one is it? I don't think you get to have it both ways. You can't complain that 100,000 is not enough to be able to live on anymore in 2022. Yet you're upset that those that would be forgiven, they're capped at 125 for individual incomes, 125K a year. So based on what you guys are saying on the internet, 100K is not a whole lot. Then they're not really doing as well as what you would perceive them to be doing when they're getting this forgiveness. Right? They're struggling, right? Because you're telling me that people that are making 100K, they're struggling. That's barely enough to really survive. So that means those people with that student loan debt, but only making 125 up to that, or maybe below that, then this is the individual that would need that assistance or that help, right? Mind you, also, majority of those that are receiving the help, they make less than 75K a year. So I'm trying to figure out where that 1% is being helped there. 1% starts at $400,000 a year in income. That's just the math. So this isn't the rich. Also, I've been around the wealthy, the rich, for sending their kids to school. They don't take out loans. They stroke a check. They stroke a check without hesitation. 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K for the year. They stroke a check and they keep it moving. So that's not the profile of the person you assume is being forgiven for these loans. One that's going to trigger some people. And again, it's going to trigger who it triggers. Full offense. If you take any offense to anything that I'm saying, you don't know me and I don't know you. So you should not take offense to strangers on the internet, quite frankly. Second, this is clearly not going to apply to you if you don't have issues with student loans being forgiven, but also if you fall into this category of people, because I have found this out on the internet. So there's a whole mass of people, of course, that are very upset. I mean, they are so upset, like you can see it. You can see the fire burning within their eyes on social media when they post about it for student loan forgiveness. And then I look and they happen to be parents, right? So then you just click on people's profile. You guys want to post your kids like all the time. So you click on their profile and they have kids. So this is my question quite often in my head when people are going on and on about student loans, student loan debt forgiveness. My question is, do you have kids or do you have grandkids? If the answer is yes, from there, my next question, do they attend public or private school? Don't go any further. I don't need you to add any additional context. I just want to know, do they attend public or private school? My guess is public, because there's a very small percentage overall in this country that actually attend private school. Why is that? Well, remember, you already said trying to live off 100K is not a whole lot, especially if you have a family. And that would take a gross amount of money to be able to afford to send your kid to private school. All right, so stay with me here. You send your kid to public school, or maybe your grandkids go to public school. So my taxes, as a tax-paying citizen, I don't want to go to jail. My taxes go also partly towards public educational expenses. Do they not? Okay, they do. Stay with me here. My taxes go towards public education. As nicely as I can put this. What does your kid's education have to do with me when I'm not their parent? I'm not their parent. They're not my dependent. None of that. What does your kid's education have to do with me? It doesn't. But I don't complain about my tax dollars going towards that public education in some way. So you are okay with someone else funding an education for the choice you make, as you made the choice to have those kids. I did not make the choice to have those kids. I will never make the choice to have kids. So you made the choice to have those children, and you're very much so okay with me and everyone else funding their education if they go to a public institution or school. So you're cool with it as long as it benefits you. Is that what I'm getting? That's what I've gathered. That's what I've gathered. You're cool with it as long as it benefits you. The hypocrisy is wild. It is wild. Also, you get a tax credit back for having those kids. So you are okay with the government providing you something for a choice that you made that costs you money. Cool. I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. So if you happen to be one of those people that falls into the category of being very angry about this, but you have kids and they attend a public school, newsflash, take a look in the mirror and pull back some of that hypocrisy. Also, where was this energy in 2008 when AIG and big banks and things were bailed out? Where was this energy then? Because I didn't see it as much online as I do right now for the everyday common citizen or individual having something forgiven by the government. This energy wasn't there for AIG. Why was that? Because you possibly needed them to cover the retirement accounts that you had so that you weren't destitute and eating cat food when you were done working. Yeah, so that energy wasn't present there. I haven't seen it as present with airlines and other larger businesses being bailed out. I haven't seen that energy for bigger businesses that took out PPP loans. And oh, by the way, they still chose to open those businesses and take on any risk if in the event cash flow slowed down, which is what happened when the country shut down. So the same way that you're looking at an individual to say, well, you took out those loans. Okay, well, they made that choice to open that business. Shouldn't their cash flow have been in order? Since you're saying the individual's cash flow should be in order to cover those loans? It's all about choices, but if you spin it in the right way, you add a context that helps support your argument, and then it's okay. I just want the energy to be the same. We already see this is a rather long video, so if you stuck around, I really appreciate you guys. I truly do. So let's talk about life past student loans for me. What does it mean? No, I'm not going to go ahead and have just crazy amounts of additional fun, shoes, essentials. I'm sure that's an assumption. That's not to say some of it won't be spent on myself for my fun, as it will, but I was already doing that because I operate on a budget and a spending plan. That's just who I am. But for the, I guess, future of not having the loans in place, I actually want to take this or use this as an opportunity to show how to maximize this grace being given, because this is a chance for future you to benefit in a major way. And how will I do that? Because I want it to center around sneakers. Well, we're gonna focus on specific stocks for sneakers. To put it plainly, Nike and Adidas. New series on my channel because I really won't have a series of, hey, student loans or sneaker resale. That's not a series I can do anymore, knowing that those loans will be forgiven. So I actually want to focus on intentionally investing in the companies we follow closely. We put money into their pockets every single month when we buy sneakers, even if it's indirectly by going to eBay or StockX or Go. You're still funneling money into those brands, and they continue to grow. They continue to thrive. We can see that in their performance and their stock, and we also just pay attention to the sneaker industry. So my thought is, why not actually put something in or invest so that I too can see a return and grow? So if you look at the estimated costs right now for a single share of Nike and a single share of Adidas, you're looking at about $110 and $110 and $75. So $185, of course, that will go up and it will go down based on whatever the market is doing that day. But for the estimated cost of a retro, I as well can see that money grow over time and let compound interest do its thing. So that's part of my intention, to actually show you guys here as a sign of accountability. Also, myself investing $185 per month into a single share of Adidas and Nike. Now, is that how I normally invest? No, index funds to me are the smarter way to go. But this is just an exercise, again, that I want to be able to show. Also, people will say there's no way that I can invest, or I don't have it, but you chase every release that comes out. So you absolutely have it. You just don't care or prioritize enough investing or putting your money in a position where it can grow. That shoe disintegrates over time. How many pairs of shoes do you see falling apart on social media? Those shoes disintegrate over time, and then they're just gone and you have nothing to show for it, versus that stock continuing to grow and grow in value as those brands grow. So that's a new series that will happen here, because ask yourself this: how many pairs of Nikes or Adidas do you own? Or it can be any other publicly held brand. How many of those do you own? Now ask yourself, how many shares of that stock do you own? It's probably not equal for most people in this game. So it's a very simple activity that I'm going to showcase here on the channel. I might even go ahead and show screenshots of, myself buying those shares so that you can see it's not as complicated as I think people make it out to be, or as scary as people make it out to be. A lot of people don't invest because they are afraid, and it's just something we don't touch on, I think, enough to make it understandable. But I want to use my platform to be able to do that. And no, 185 is clearly not the total sum of what I will no longer have to pay towards student loans. First off, my minimum payment was very low in comparison to what I chose to pay every single month on my loan. So there is an additional $400 or $500 if you watch my channel that I have available, and I'll use those funds, whether it's towards additional savings goals or traveling or any number of things. It will not all be blown on just sneakers and whatever else. I just don't think that's the smartest way to handle it. Now, I'm not mad if anybody chooses to do that, because this is freedom in a way that they may have never seen for years and years to come. So I'm sure people will comment their thoughts below if they've taken the chance to watch this very long and extensive video. I didn't think it would be this long, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out on camera to you on this channel, because I'm pretty sure I'm probably one of the few channels within sneakers that discusses finances or personal finance or budgeting or the implications of student loans. So again, I appreciate you guys. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.